Well, I don't know how many I've gone to. I suppose I've gone to half a dozen to a dozen of these, but I don't keep track like I do of the Republican or Democratic national conventions. It's pretty crowded upstairs and still looking for free food. But, one of the slogans of the political right is there's no such thing as a free lunch. So here I am, hungry.
So we're here. Liberals have the White House and Congress. What can conservatives do to get it back?
Well, we still have free speech in this country. They haven't turned off talk radio yet. I think, this is a time when I think opinion is fluid. I think we saw that in last year's campaign. We see that in the special election results where there's a big drop-off of Democratic turnout. It's fragmentary evidence, but it's there. And we see it when we look at polling on the bailout package, the stimulus package. You get approval ratings that go from 38% in one poll to 62% in another, depending on the wording. That signals to me that voters don't have deep-rooted preferences. It's not something they've thought about for a long time. It's not something which they've clearly made up their mind. And how you frame issues is important. And what issues you bring forward is important, too. One issue that really concerns me, and it's just something I read about in the Washington Post this morning, had not previously heard, which is that the Obama administration is planning in its economic plan to limit the charitable deduction for high-income givers below the current levels. This is an effort to channel money away from the voluntary associations that have been identified as one of the strengths of America since Alexis de Tocqueville came here in the 1830s, and channel it into government where it can go towards increasing the roles of the public employee union sectors, which then increase the role of the Democratic Party. It is a power grab away from voluntary organizations which have done so much volunteer work in this country to the centralized state, which has had, while some agencies perform well, let's say a less distinguished record. Our country has prospered because we've depended not just on the state, but on voluntary associations to do things to help people, to strengthen our society in different ways, to pursue different paths, and people can see which one works better. This is an attempt to shut down the voluntary associations to some significant extent, and to use that, channel that money to government and the public employee unions, and I think it's an evil move, and one that would be very dangerous for this country.
Agreed. One final question. For years, leftist liberal groups like MoveOn.org have controlled the playing field. Conservatives have been on the sideline. American Future Fund is one such group that will counter MoveOn.org's efforts. How important is it for groups like American Future Fund to be at the forefront of the debate for conservatives?
Well, I think there's, in our political system, there's room for a lot of different groups to come forward. And when you're in a period when opinion is fluid, as I think it is today, when you're in a period when the public is being faced with unfamiliar issues, unfamiliar crises, unfamiliar proposals to deal with them, he or she who can frame the issues can tend to determine the outcome of the election and the outcome of the political controversy. So I think it's very important to be in the issue framing business, to be in the idea definition business. That can make critical differences in our system, not just in elections, but in the outcome of issues that are before Congress and the state legislatures.